Have you ever heard the saying, easy money is the hardest to keep? Well, let me tell you a story about a guy named Tunda, whose life proves just how true that is. Tunda was the kind of guy everyone liked at first sight. Tall, smooth-talking, always smelling like expensive cologne, even though his account balance was usually empty. He worked as a personal trainer in a small gym in Surulera, earning just enough to cover rent and food. But Tunda had big dreams. He wanted to make it big in Lagos one way or another. His girlfriend, Kemi, was a hairdresser trying to keep her small salon afloat. They were deeply in love, or so it seemed, and they dreamed of building a beauty and fitness empire together. But as we all know, dreams don't pay bills, and Lagos can be tough on broke lovers. Soon, their landlord was threatening eviction. The pressure was mounting, and Tunda was getting desperate. That's when Madame Remy walked into his life. She was in her late 40s, rich, elegant, and recently divorced. She joined the gym with one mission: to stay fit and fine. The first day she saw Tunda, she smiled like a cat that just found a bowl of cream. He became her personal trainer, and very soon, her special friend. She started bringing him food, slipping money into his pocket, and calling him my sweet boy. At first, Tunda tried to resist, but the day she handed him 200,000 naira just for helping her stretch, his conscience took a long vacation. Within weeks, Tunda's life transformed. He moved into a fancy apartment, started wearing designer clothes, and even bought a small car. Kemi was thrilled. "Baby, things are finally working out for us," she'd say, her eyes shining with hope. Tunda would just smile and hug her tightly, avoiding her gaze. He couldn't bring himself to tell her where the money was really coming from. He just said he got a side gig with a private client. But this new life came with strings attached. Madame Remy grew possessive. She started calling him late at night, demanding to know where he was and who he was with. "I'm investing in you, Tunda," she'd say in a deceptively sweet voice. "Don't make me regret it." The sweet life was starting to taste a little sour. Meanwhile, Kemi's instincts were screaming that something was wrong. One evening, while doing Tunda's laundry, she found a receipt for an expensive perfume, a scent she knew she'd never received. Holding up the receipt, she asked, "Who are you buying perfume for?" Tunda stammered, his mind racing. "It's for a client. She wanted me to help her pick one out." Kemi just stared at him, her expression unreadable. "A client?" she repeated slowly. "Or a woman?" He had no answer. The trust between them was beginning to crack. A few days later, the inevitable happened. Madame Remy decided to pay Tundi a surprise visit. She showed up at his apartment unannounced, dressed to impress and carrying a food flask. The worst part? Kemi was there, frying plantain in the kitchen, humming a happy tune. When the knock came, Tunda's heart leaped into his throat. "Who is that?" Kemi asked from the kitchen. "Just a neighbor," he lied, his palms sweating as he rushed to the door. He opened it, and there she was, Madame Remy, smiling that possessive smile. His world stopped. "Sweetheart, you didn't tell me you had a visitor," she said, brushing past him as if she owned the place. Kemi came out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron, and froze. The air grew thick with unspoken questions. "Good evening, Ma," Kemi said politely. Madame Remy looked Kemi up and down with a dismissive glance, then turned to Tunda. "Is this your sister?" Before Tunda could invent another lie, Kemi snapped. "His sister? I'm his girlfriend." The silence that followed was deafening. Madame Remy's smile vanished, replaced by a cold fury. She dropped the food flask on the table with a loud thud. "So this is what you've been using my money for?" she hissed, her voice low and dangerous. Tunda tried to explain, to salvage the situation, but she cut him off with a wave of her hand. "Keep your lies. You think I don't know you've been playing me?" She turned her venom on Kemi. "My dear, you can have him, but be ready to feed him because the party is over." With that, she stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls seemed to shake. The fallout was immediate and brutal. That night, Tunda's phone buzzed nonstop with bank alerts. Not deposits, but reversals. She was taking back every single naira she had ever sent him. By morning, his account was nearly empty. The car she'd helped him buy, repossessed before noon. His rent, which she had paid for the year, was canceled with a single phone call to the landlord. He was right back where he started. But this time, he was completely alone. Kemi was heartbroken and furious. "So this is what you've been doing? Living a lie and letting me believe our dreams were coming true?" She packed her bags. As she walked out the door, she left him with words that would haunt him for a long time. When you finish chasing sugar, maybe you'll realize salt still gives flavor. For weeks, Tunde was a shadow of his former self. His gym job barely paid for food. He tried calling Kemi, but she never picked up. Madame Remy had blocked him on every platform. To make matters worse, rumors spread around the gym, and the owner fired him. His reputation was in tatters. Months passed. One day he saw Kemi. Her salon had expanded, and she looked radiant, truly happy. She was with another man, someone who looked steady and kind. When their eyes met, she offered a small, polite smile. He managed a weak one back. "I'm happy for you," he said quietly, and he meant it. "Thank you," she replied gently. Then she added, "Next time, choose peace over pleasure." He nodded, understanding completely. He watched her walk away, her laughter echoing down the street, a sound he knew he didn't deserve to share anymore. That evening, Tunde sat at a roadside suya stand, chewing slowly, the smoky flavor a stark contrast to the bitterness in his heart. The lesson hit him hard. Sweet things are not always worth the price you pay. From that day on, he promised himself he would earn his living the hard way. No shortcuts, no sugar-coated lies. And now, whenever his friends joke about finding a sugar mummy, he just laughs and says, "My brother, sugar can spoil your teeth, but salt will teach you taste." What do you think about Tunde's story? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.